right, thanks for your patience, everyone. I think we are ready to get started. Once again, my name is Ian Schaefer. I'm one of the Senior Product Specialists here at UDA Technologies. Joining me today is Holly Gibson, another of our Senior Product Specialists.
Hi, everyone.
And we've actually got Sydney Dorsey answering a lot of the questions for the series today. She's also one of our Senior Product Specialists as well, so you got a bunch of seniors here. And as we're going through taking a look at some of the great new features that we're going to be making available for all of our Construction Online clients here in the next, probably a few weeks, I imagine. We're going to be highlighting some of these great new changes, and it's going to be, a lot of the things that we're looking at today are going to be really exciting enhancements to an already very popular Construction Online system that's been available now for almost 10 years. In that time, of course, we've managed to accrue somewhere in the neighborhood of about 600,000 users. Or is it 650,000 users?
Yeah, we actually passed 650,000 this past year in 2018.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. And we're still looking at managing somewhere in the neighborhood of about $70 billion in projects every day. And these are going to be active projects that people are working on. A lot of our clients have some large jobs, some small jobs. We've even got clients that are working on everything from just simple yard irrigation projects all the way through building amusement parks and resorts and things like that. So the scale and the scope of these things is immense. And today we're going to be taking a look at some of the changes for Construction Online that will help you or enable you to do even more than you do right now. So as we dive in and take a look at this, of course we're going to be looking for questions and everything like that. I'll do my best to keep up with them, but so far you guys are, I think, throwing out a lot of great feedback and a lot of great questions and requests and things like that, and I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up with all of them, but don't worry. This is only the first in the series of webinars that we're going to be doing. As we continue this over the course of the next week and a half, we'll be diving into some specific features and topics to give you guys a better, kind of deeper feel for some of the different options that are available within New Construction Online. And a lot of these things that we're going to be looking at in the series of webinars this week and next week are game changers. It's a completely different way to operate with Construction Online or with project management solutions in the cloud, full stop. So as we're looking at a lot of these things, we're going to show you how UDA Technologies is really, really changing the game with all of these different features and functions and even just ways to think about things. Now, of course, as we're looking at this today, this is going to be a broad overview for Construction Online. So we're going to be touching on a lot of things, and we're probably going to be moving pretty quickly. Definitely still chime in with those questions as you guys see them, because of course, in the GoToWebinar panel, we've got all that information available. We can also reach out to you guys afterwards if we can't touch on the questions now. But we're also going to be taking a look at just the website today. If you guys have the mobile app, Construction Online, which is available both in the Google Play Store or the App Store, follow along with this as well, because everything that we're looking at today you can do in the app as well, and it's just as easy, but made specifically for those mobile devices, your phones, your tablets, or what have you. And with that said, let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
So, first and foremost, with Construction Online New, for those of you who haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet, the navigation is completely different than we've worked on this before. With Construction Online, we're highlighting a lot of the major points that we're going to be working with, and it starts up here at the top left. When you first log into the web page, up at the top left corner, most of our Construction Online admins or our users are going to have a series of overview tools here. This is going to include sections like the company overview or a company calendar. These are things that we're all familiar with because in this overview, it's going to show you how the company does as a whole. Now, this area is going to be starting me off with recent and upcoming everything. So what we're looking at here, this is going to be to-dos, punch list items, change order and selection deadlines, everything that I need to pay attention to or things that I've let drop are all going to show up here. And you'll actually see a little color coding, the really easy kind of eye-catching coding system here that just shows us what we have that's upcoming, like my to-dos here, what we might have that's overdue, it'll show up in red, or what's right on the cusp. Yellow is get in there and pay attention to it because we're starting to come up on our deadlines. Red would be our overdue tasks. And as you can see here, I'm actually on top of things for once. I only have greens and grays, meaning I need to create some content or we're right on schedule for some of the things that we have going here. So of course, as you guys are working through this, For the admins or for people like the office management staff, we're going to be able to come in here and take a look at this and see how our staff as a whole is doing, because we'll be able to come in and see everything and where we need to invest our time or our focus in order to keep all of our jobs up together.
Yeah, that's right, Ian. You know, when you look at first logging into the system, working with a program like ConstructionOnline, one of the things that makes it so valuable is that you don't have to try and remember everything yourself. You know, the system is going to remember it for you. So rather than logging in and thinking which project needs my attention and clicking around and trying to figure out where you're needing to go, the company overview tool set is really designed to help direct your attention immediately to things that need you. So when you log in, you don't really have to remember which project was it that you had a certain to-do item for, or if something got done. ConstructionOnline is going to tell you right away what needs my attention, where do I need to focus, and you have some of these other tools that we'll go ahead and take a look at that will feed you similar information in the sense of being able to see very recently, perhaps not what's overdue, but what's been added in. Where do we stand big picture with the budget or schedule for our projects? What recent files and pictures have been added into ConstructionOnline regardless of project?
And it's a very good point too, because the recent and upcoming does an excellent job of giving our most valuable members of the staff, like the company owners, or again the office managers, or whomever that might be, it gives them the ability to effectively and efficiently put their time where it needs to be. Now, for those of us who are managing teams, we can step through the next series of options here in the company overview, the recent files and photos, project tracking, financials, communications, calendars and schedules. All of these tabs show us what our team is up to. And this is extremely valuable too, because like when we're looking here at recent files and photos, we've got that back step through the past few days or weeks to show us what's being uploaded, what the guys are finishing up, or my team is working on a lot of different things, and this just gives me that overview. It saves them from having to come to report to me every day, where I'm probably not going to be listening anyway because I've already got so much on my plate. But this just gives me the ability to jump in, see what's going on, and react accordingly. Same for the project tracking. From here, of course, we can see all the to-dos that are being created, our daily logs. I made the comment that we're on top of our game. Apparently that was a lie. I have 11 of these that are overdue, so we need to go in there and start finishing these things up. But again, it's just a quick information gathering. As Holly mentioned, ConstructionOnline remembers all these things for us. We don't have to. Instead of having sticky notes everywhere, we can come into and take a look at our to-do list, or our punch list, or again, the recent files and photos. Or more importantly, we can shift gears and move into the company calendar to see where everything is. Now, as we're looking at the calendar itself, the company calendar is going to show you everything that we have going on across all of our projects. Now, by default, most of this information that we're looking at will be turned on for all of our projects, for all of our custom calendars and everything. What did I say, by default? I've already gone through and kind of cleaned up the list a little bit. But as we're turning everything back on again, you can start to see all the differentiation between these different jobs. You've got options to filter it down by resource, so you could see where one particular team member might be, or where you've assigned a single sub, or even maybe if we need to figure out what selections one of our clients needs to make, there'll be a resource as well. We can filter it down to just that one customer and see what decisions they need to get made today to make sure that there's no delays on their job tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of my actual very favorite things about the company calendar in ConstructionOnline, and some of the enhancements that we've made recently, is that it's really going to pull together everything that has a date onto this one sort of command central for you. So again, when you log in, you want a place where you can go, everything's in one place. We can see exactly what's coming up, and that's going to be things that you've put on your calendar, like meetings. That will be things pulling in from your Gantt charts, but that's also going to be deadlines for things like your selections or to-do list items. That's going to be places where maybe you've logged a weather delay. you'll see that on the calendar. So everything is going to come together in this one place. One thing that we've done for Construction Online 2019 is actually add a new view, which is your agenda view. So you've got your month view, which we're looking at here, and of course the beautiful year view heat map to kind of see big picture, high level, what's going on with your company. But that agenda view is going to take everything and put it together in a list. So this is one of the things that we've added that I really like. I'm a list maker, so I enjoy seeing it in this form as well.
Absolutely. And this actually leads us to one of our next features as well. We've brought to the forefront the ability to create what we refer to as game plans. Now, game plans are a fantastic way to get all the information that you need somebody to be taken care of into their hands in a really easily read format or an easy to access format. So when you take a look at the company game plans here, you've got some options for gathering the information together from that calendar that we were just looking at and sending an email out on a fairly regular basis for any individual that you guys have available in the system. This could be subcontractors, it could be your team, it could be yourself. I have my own game plan set up so that I get an email every day that tells me what I should focus on for the day. Now, I've got mine broken out by project as well. It just organizes each project from the top to the bottom, and it's giving me everything that I need to pay attention to. Again, with the idea here being I won't even have to log in at the beginning of the day. At 7 o'clock in the morning when I'm going downstairs to get a cup of coffee, I get that email, pull it up on my phone, see everything that I've got to do for the day, and I can start planning. So again, it's the perfect way to convey this information quickly and easily using tools that we all already have on hand, or in hand, because of course it's sending out those emails regularly. Again, this is available in the mobile app as well. So as you're taking a look at the Construction Online app, if you need to get the list, rather than going into your to-dos or your calendar or your change orders or whatever you might need to focus on for the day, go to your game plan section. Game plan just gives you that bulleted list. You can go in through and see everything that we need to work on and take care of everything from there.
That's right. GamePlan has actually become, one of our most popular features, since it was introduced several years ago. We see, almost everyone who is using Construction Online, especially for task management, finds their way to GamePlan because of how much it automates. And with that popularity, we have made some enhancements for 2019. One of the things that we've done with the game plan, of course, that's going to continue to send out to you just like it always has, but by giving you a more accessible location for the game plan so that it's kind of always one of those main options that you have. We have added some faster previewing options so that you have the option to actually preview the game plan, kind of view that list right inside of Construction Online. In addition to, the regular options you would have for emails or printing and things like that. One of the most common things I think that when I work with new clients who are coming to us and not using a software solution yet, one of the things that they'll frequently tell me is, often I'll find that they have some sort of calendar system where they're putting information or they're making a list somewhere. But then what happens is at the end of the day, they're already having to look at the next day and sit down and look at the schedule they've made, the calendar they've made, and then break everything out by person and make a list and get that ready to give to someone the next day. GamePlan gets rid of all that. So super useful tool and definitely some nice enhancements to the way you're able to view and work with those game plans in this new Construction Online 2019.
Yeah, and again, we've done a great job of pat ourselves on the back here for a second. We've pulled this to the forefront. GamePlan is one of the features that's completely unique to Construction Online. So we've brought it here to the forefront so that everybody can see it, can find it, and can take advantage of it. The companies that we've worked with who do use this GamePlan have seen this one thing pay for the entire system all by itself. It makes meetings take a fraction of the time if they happen at all. It allows your team to know exactly where they're supposed to be. It avoids any of the confusion or the miscommunications or anything like that. Nobody shows up at the wrong place because they get this listing of everything that they're supposed to focus on and can ask questions the second it comes through. Now, of course, along those lines, when this information starts to get out into their hands, we need to start tracking how good of a job they're doing. Mm-hmm. Now, one of these great new things with Construction Online 2019 specifically, is the Scorecard. Now, as we go in and take a look at the Scorecard feature, you're going to start to see how effective we are at creating and completing tasks. Now, most of the information that we're looking at, I actually took a little bit of time to go through and put some of this together for today, although I lost my to-dos someplace. Nah, it's okay. As you're going through and you're working with a lot of this information, creating punch lists, creating to-do lists, building schedules, and checking things off, all of this information is coming together on the scorecard to show you and everybody else on your team who's winning. This is where that competitive element kind of comes into play. And what we've found is, even if there's a little friendly competition going on in the office, it tends to drive productivity pretty high. Much, much higher than it would if everybody was just off doing their own thing. So if we can see how everybody is comparing to one another with content creation, with task completion, and just overall effectiveness, then everybody becomes a little bit more driven in this case. So we've added in this scorecard tool so that you can start to see some of this information, and it just lets us see overall who on the team is winning, which is me.
Are those others real users? Did you make
No,
that
of
up?
course not. But in this case, as we're going through and we're working with the information in here too, keep in mind that this is gathering activity everywhere that it's being created. Could be
That's
in
right.
the to-do list, on the phone apps, could be from a subcontractor portal perhaps, things being assigned out to somebody else that your guys are working with here or checking off. Could be you guys sitting down in the office making them in ConstructionOnline or even ConstructionSuite. All of that information can sync up through SuiteLink if you guys have TotalCare in place, even with the new ConstructionSuite 10, which we just started releasing recently. But all of this information is kind of coming together, and it's gathered up here in the scorecard so that you guys can make sure that everybody is meeting or exceeding their goals. And that's a big part of what this is all about. We want to make sure that everybody is not just meeting the goals that they've set out for themselves or that you've set out for them, but they're able to push their limits. Everything that they thought that they had as a hard limit in the past, they can meet those, they can blow them out of the water, and they can create new goals every day for things that they never would have thought possible before.
That's right, which means you as a team or as a company can do the same thing as well. You know, one thing we found to be a key ingredient of success is visibility, and that's really the driving force behind a lot of what we do in ConstructionOnline is to provide a system that's going to allow you visibility into your projects to be able to easily see what's happening, and with Scorecard to do the same thing with your team and even yourself to get a really, quick but powerful understanding of what's happening, what's being done, what's being created, what's being logged and noted, and what's been completed. In addition to seeing that, of course, on the individual user level, you can also see how you guys are doing as a team. What's your overall completion percentage? How many pending tasks do you have kind of hanging out there that are not complete? And you can even see a quick comparison. For example, we can see that we are up 19% from the last 4-week period. So we have a little bit more still hanging out there incomplete. So our percentage might be going down a little bit. Same thing with the number of items or tasks that we're creating in the system. And it may be that you look at this and you understand, okay, well, we're not creating as much because we're in a heavy construction cycle, so we're completing more. But just having that visibility and being able to really keep watch over big picture, what's happening, how effective are you as a team and how effective are your team members as individuals really gives you even more insight into being able to do great things.
I'm shifting this around a little bit because I'm trying to keep an eye on the questions that Sydney has flagged for us as well to touch on some of these as we go. Before we dive into too much else, there's a couple of questions here, it looks like, for users that are asking about the view that I have here. Not the view for, if I'm reading this correctly, somebody's asking how to get a brick wall in. There it is. How does the brick background appear? It's
such a great question.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on this too, because one of the things that we've added with the new ConstructionOnline navigation is the ability to go into and kind of customize some of the look and feel options. For me personally, I have my view set or my display set under Edit Profile. There's a section here for your display where you can choose things like your own personal background image and a theme for some of the tools that you're working with here as well. Again, what we're looking at in this case is just preferences. Everybody can set their own. If you're a mountain person, if you like, kind of the mountain look and feel, and you want, something that kind of feels like clouds maybe, you can set that up. You can shift it around a little bit so that you get that kind of Zen mountain feel. Or if you're a beach person, no problem. You can actually go in and edit your profile, adjust the display so that you've got waves crashing on the beach. This wave's crashing on the beach maybe. And again, you can change these things around. Ultimately, you have a huge variety of customization that comes available directly here with some of our preloaded themes, or you can add your own if you've got some other pictures or images or something like that you wanted you guys to use as well. All of this information can be made available in there, even to the point, kind of touching back to one of the questions that we had from the ConstructionSuite webinars. Our football fans, namely our Patriots fan who's shown up again, could actually adjust color themes and images and backgrounds, so you could get a huge Tom Brady there in the background if that's what you're interested in, and you can set your color themes there too. Or, again, the sky's the limit in this case, or in this case, not even the sky is the limit.
Right.
You can set it for whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my brick, though. It's my personal preference, and if I change that now, I might get a little lost.
Well, it's definitely a lot of fun. I think one of the things that we really want with ConstructionOnline and ConstructionSuite and all the products that we provide for you guys is we want you to love using them. We want you to look forward to opening them up every day, turning on your computer, logging in, seeing what's happening. And I think I love these personalization options. My personal favorite is the beach, so I always keep it on the beach scene there. And it's fun. It's a great way to really make the system yours.
Absolutely. And so again, most of those options are actually going to be available in the drop down in the top right. We've actually collected a lot of features here in ConstructionOnline 2019. So you'll see in this drop down up here in the top right, the edit profile options, of course, where we just went to adjust displays and to really personalize ConstructionOnline in a number of different ways. You'll also find in here email notification settings, space to set the company logo. I have this because I'm the admin on this particular account, so I can define the company logo that's going to show up at the top of all of our reports. We can manage our company users from here, where I can go and add a whole lot of other people in here that I can also look like I'm beating just to make myself feel a little bit better on the scorecard. But we can even go into some of the additional settings here too, like adjusting what our customers and our TeamLink users are able to see, turning on and off features in here as well, to choose how the portal will be viewed. And we're going to be doing a deep dive on the ClientLink and TeamLink features on
Friday.
Okay. So again, join us on Friday, same time, and we'll kind of dive into some of these features in greater depth. But just know, if you guys are interested in seeing what's available, click on the drop down on the top right, go to your ClientLink and TeamLink settings, and then from here you can also go into and preview things like your public profile or your customer portals or whatever you need to from here.
That's right. Now, before we get to the ClientLink area where we would set up a portal for our clients, we of course first want to win the job. So one of the things that we've added in ConstructionOnline 2019 is a brand new sales management section for you. Formerly called your lead pipeline, we've actually consolidated several tools into the sales management for you, as well as added a brand new tool with our opportunities feature. So now you have access to all of this right under that sales management tab.
You do, and one of the newer features that you'll see in addition to the tools like our lead pipeline and our lead calendar, the call log feature, which again, speaking of game changers, in this case, the ConstructionOnline app gives you the ability to call your leads directly from the app. It'll track how much time you're spending with those leads and give you a place where you can put in notes on the call. This, for us, has always been huge. Whenever we're having conversations with potential clients, we always want to know what's being said, or more importantly, I want to know what my sales team is up to, and being able to go into and see that they're making the calls and having great conversations for me is a huge trust builder. So that's a great way for us to kind of go through and follow up on a lot of this information, and we can start to follow those conversations and those trends so that we can set each other up for success by planning how to have this information available, or more importantly for me, when I see that they're having conversations about specific needs or requirements or tools, and that they're talking about maybe setting up an appointment, me back in the main office, I can go ahead and start putting together everything that we might need for that sales meeting that's coming up in the near future.
Yeah, that's right. We've also added within the lead tool the ability to track a little bit of additional information. So one of the things you'll notice throughout several things that we'll show you today in Construction Online is more customization options for you. We've gone through and added more places where you can customize not just the bricks in the background, of course, but things like options that are appearing in your drop-down list, columns that are appearing in your grid layouts like the one that we're looking at here. In the case of lead tracking, we've also added some tools that help you understand where you're winning and where maybe you're not winning. So when we go to kind of work with our lead, we're still going to be able to customize and assign things like your lead stage, your lead source. But when we actually go in to mark the lead as won or lost, then the system is now going to prompt us to enter a reason why that is so. What is the reason this lead is lost, or what's the reason why this lead closed, which will allow you over time, of course, to be able to track, where you're having success, maybe a common reason that is selected for for leads maybe that you don't win. And so that's just one more example of those options are going to be created entirely by you. So we're not going to guess as to why your lead might be won or lost. But notice, like here, we mark this as one. Now we have a drop down list that we can populate so that your sales rep can indicate, okay, well, what was the deciding factor? Why did this lead decide to go with us? Or just the opposite, if the lead, is lost, we're able to track that as well. And then you can come back and use that information to spot trends and hopefully sell and win more jobs in the future.
And sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one more great place where we've added that customization is in your lead events. So of course you can still set up those callbacks and meetings, but you can now also define additional custom types here. So when we look at using Construction Online, again, we really want you to make it your own, and we've built in tools like this that allow you to define new types of lead events or things like that are great tools for your sales team to use.
And again, it couldn't be easier to find. Most of these areas that do have the option for those customizations, you'll always find this little gear, this little setting option on all of them. So if you are looking for some of the different areas where you can add that customization to your drop-downs or to your reports or your capabilities, keep an eye out for that icon. You'll find it in several different locations. Not just here for leads, but also in several of the other areas within Construction Online as well.
That's right. You'll notice those options in your contacts. You'll notice those options in your projects. You'll notice them throughout the features and tools that you're using, every day in Construction Online. Now, when we look at tracking our leads, really normally the next step for our lead is going to be to create some sort of proposal. We want to create an estimate. We want to create a proposal. Often at this point, we really don't need an entire project for our lead. We just need to be able to create a potential project, go ahead and create that estimate, get a proposal in the client's hands. So of course they can sign off on it. We can win the job and move forward from there. So to address that stage in your process, we have created the brand new opportunity feature, which allows you to do just that. So as you're working with and managing your leads, when you get to that point where you need to go ahead and start building a potential project, you need to start building an estimate, you can go ahead and do that by creating a new opportunity. You'll be able to create opportunities either from scratch like we're doing here, or use one of your existing project templates. Either way will work.
I don't know in this case if I have any project templates set up, so poor planning on my part there. But the beauty of this, though, is you can actually take some of your successfully executed projects that you've completed in the past and make them templates. So if you find one that works, rather than starting from scratch every time, you can take one of those existing project templates, convert it into, one of those existing projects, turn it into a template. And that just gives you that significant advantage on all future jobs because you've already set what success looks like. Now all you're doing is you're just following that recipe every time afterwards. Now again, in this case, you do have, as we saw before, you've got plenty of options for going into and customizing some of the additional information that we have here for projects. So project types, project groups, stages, regions, divisions, all sorts of additional information. This being an opportunity means that we also need to keep track of some of the opportunity details here as well. Now I know at least in ConstructionSuite, and I think a few of you have already asked this question as well, what's the difference between a lead and an opportunity? And that for me has always been a fantastic question, because leads and the lead tracking tools that we have available within ConstructionOnline are all about nurturing relationships with the people. We're going to have a lead as a person or as a company or an entity that we're going to be working with, and we're tracking our meetings and we're respecting their time and we're following along with all the information that they give us. We're building a potential for a project, and the work itself is the opportunity. Now what this means for us in most cases is that we will have a lead and an opportunity show up, usually hand in hand, for anybody new that we're working with. But a lot of builders are working with repeat customers too. Repeat customers don't need to go through the lead pipeline multiple times. In situations like that, they'll be in there once, but they'll have several opportunities in there as well.
That's right.
And for projects like remodeling projects, I see that this happens very often where, you'll start by remodeling their master bathroom and then they bring you back, or I was working with somebody recently who said I'm not supposed to say that anymore. So main bathroom or homeowner's bathroom, I think it was, whatever you decide to call it. So we've got the one bathroom that we're going to be working on, and they decide to bring us back in because next they want an addition. So then we come in, new opportunity for an addition. They decide to sign the contract and it becomes a project. We finish that project, and then we go back, 6 months later, and they say, we've been thinking about this, and we think it's time to do the kitchen. Well, there's opportunity number 3. Same lead, same person, 3 opportunities of work. And so each of those can be tracked as such, and this gives you the ability to gather all that information together and still report on it and track on it properly as we're going through this. Now I say properly because, of course, for our lead reporting, we want to be able to capture all of this information. We need to be able to see where our sales team is successful and how they're tracking down this information. We also have a lot of need to go in and look for things like sweet spots. So what kind of jobs should we continue to bid? What types of opportunities tend to be the most fruitful? And this gives you the ability to go through and track all of that information and more. So of course, as you go through, save the opportunities and you'll be able to put them together in here as well. And,
That's right.
And as you're going through and working with this, I've already seen some additional questions coming through too about making some adjustments to things like lead stages or opportunity stages. This customization option exists because, once again, here's the little icon for that customization. And when you come in and take a look, here you can go through and adjust or change around some of the information and the details within the stages and the pipelines and everything like that as well. So you can use your own terms for all of these stages that exist within it, and you can reorganize the ones that we offer. We find that most companies tend to have some term here for the same kind of stages, and we've preloaded them with the ones that we find are most common. So you'll see a lot of these things up and available in here as well, so you guys can work with those as you move forward in this case too.
That's right. Now, our next step. So, of course, working with the opportunity is going to give us the ability to create an estimate for the opportunity and a proposal. So, the idea with opportunities really is that these are your potential projects. We'll be able to kind of track where we are, go in and create the estimate there for those. But once you've done that, once you've created the estimate, and of course you still have access to use all of the templates and things that you're used to for estimating and for your projects. But once you've done that and you've created an estimate, we've made a proposal, we've got the signature, then our next step is really going to be to convert that into a project, which is super easy. Just right click, convert to project, and now that's going to become one of our active projects. Everything is still there, so it's a very seamless transition. And then we get to jump in and work with some of those project tools that I know we're excited to kind of dive in and take a look at as well.
We are, but before we dive into that, one quick thing that it looks like one of our viewers today was able to catch as we were moving through it, and sharp eyes in this case, good job. When you right click on your leads, there's now an option to create a project from those leads as well. This has been a highly requested feature because we have it available in ConstructionSuite, our desktop solution as well. And we've got a lot of people that use both. And so the people who use both have been a little spoiled by having some of those desktop tools available. And with this option now, right-clicking on your leads and adding in a new project for ConstructionOnline, the option is available here in the menu, and that's a fantastic addition in my opinion. But it does also bring me to another point that I want to make about this one, because this highlights a complete shift in how web-based software typically works. Now, in the past, in a web-based platform, when you right-click on something, you get the browser's right-click menu, which, in case you guys haven't seen it yet, is mostly worthless. It doesn't give you anything that you're trying to accomplish or anything like that. With the new Construction Online, the right-click has been used finally in the web browser. So you'll actually see us going through, and we do this often, at least I do. I right-click on everything. That's kind of my way of figuring out if that's a tool that I'm going to be working with. So in this case, if you're going through and you're right-clicking on your leads, you've got an option in the right-click menu to add information, to edit your lead, to create a new project. From the opportunities, you can right-click and turn them into an awarded project, or maybe if we lost the job, you've got that one too. But as you're going through and you're working with this, you can right-click on pretty much everything in the system. So as you're continuing through this, right-click on the calendar so that you can create new activities or see what's going on for the activities that are there. With our projects list, you can right-click on a lot of these projects that we have available in here too. And from here, you can archive them, or more importantly, add them to favorites. I've got probably 40 projects in here in the various different categories, the project types that we're working on. But I only have 3 that I have to pay attention to specifically. Those are my 3 jobs that I'm kind of overseeing right now. So I've right-clicked. If we wanted to add a 4th, we can add that right to my favorites list. I can see all the jobs, but the ones that I'm actually working directly on are here under my favorites list, because these are the ones that require my immediate attention. So again, that right-click option gives me the ability to just kind of dive right in and continue working with that. Now, when you're taking a look in some of these projects or at some of the areas within ConstructionSuite as well, you'll also see that not only do we have some of these options available for the right-click menu in here, but if we dive into areas like the files or the photos section in Construction Online, you've also got the ability to drag and drop within the browser as well. Now, you may have seen this in some other file-specific applications like Google Drive or something along those lines. Dropbox has some of these kind of features too. But up until now, it hasn't really existed in any project management tools. So we implemented it. We added it in here because most of us are so accustomed to the drag and drop options, or the double click to get into folders, or being able to find our little file path up here at the top so you can navigate back and forth. These are normal use kind of scenarios, and so we've added a lot of these into Construction Online. Holly, you were talking earlier about some of your favorite features in there. This is probably one of mine. That drag and drop option, or maybe the right click option, they're kind of neck and neck for me. But in new Construction Online, these kind of options make getting into the system and organizing information within the system extremely easy. It's second nature in this case to be able to go in and move things around and set up files and folders and all of this kind of information. So I did kind of want to highlight that before we dive into the project information itself, because, well, it is one of the best changes that we've made with Construction Online in years.
It is, so much so it's a great chance for me to say we'll be doing a deep dive on that particular topic on Monday. So join us on Monday to take, even a closer look at document management, file management, some best practices here, looking at photo management. I mean, it really is, there's a wealth of opportunity just for big picture organization happening for your projects, for your company, with these tools. It's one of the most universally used tools that I see. I mean, all of you, regardless of, what type of work you're doing, everyone has documents, files, things like that really need to be managed, and that can speed up your day if everyone knows where it is, if it's accessible to everyone all the time. So I think that our team has done a great job, I think, implementing some really fantastic ease of use tools within the file section and also within the photos. I think one of my other favorite recent enhancements that we've added is the new photo stream here that really gives users, it's just such a self-organizing tool. I like software that does things for me, that I don't have to think about, I don't have to kind of organize. And so that's exactly what the photo stream does. It's just a way of Construction Online being able to take your pictures and organize them for you. So as they're being loaded in, you always have that timeline and you can see everything kind of divided up by day. We can see exactly who added it, where they put it. It's one of my favorite things. It's an example of the system working for you. All you have to do is use it. It works for you.
Absolutely. And this, by the way, is an add-on. With the photos themselves, you can always go back into and take a look at project albums, just like we had them before. So you can go into and see all of the photos. Everything can be organized. You can set your cover photo for these albums. You can also take a lot of these albums and make them available through things like the public profile if you wanted to show some of those off. If this was a great project, you really loved some of the shots that you guys got from this, some of the professional photos that you guys took on the completed project, add it to your public profile. Let people go in and see that great work that you guys have done. Or maybe just share it with a future customer. This is another option that I've seen a lot of successful sellers use. Salespeople who take some of the work that they've found that's really attention grabbing and put it into a project that they use to share with a lot of potential clients. This is a great way for you guys to take that information, show off your success, talk about it, and give people an idea of what kind of great things they can expect when they work with you too. So let's see. We've got several questions, and I'm trying to keep an eye on them as we go. But as we skip around a little bit, I do kind of want to take a step back to the project overview. We've got, as you can see over on the left-hand side, several different projects to work with. And one of the things that Construction Online does really, really well right from the get-go is giving you a bird's eye view for things. The company overview shows you how the company as a whole is doing across all of its active projects. The project overview is similar. It gives you a lot of great insight as to what's going on your jobs. And as you're looking at this main page, you can set up this main overview to give you guys some really insightful details. Like over on the left-hand side, I love having any kind of imagery here for the job itself. This is one that we designed with one of our customers. I'm using air quotes as if you can see that. This might be the design that we're going with on this particular home. I didn't design this one, obviously. This is a little bit beyond my capabilities in this case. But if we're grabbing the images, you guys can set that here. You maybe, in some cases, you want to put the design for the building or the home that we're looking at here. Maybe it's the future homeowner or the couple, the family maybe goes in this section. Maybe it's us. Ultimately, you guys have a lot of options, but you can assign things here. You've got some additional details for a quick view on the job. Over on the right-hand side, of course, we're tracking forecasted weather conditions and a project map here as well to show our location. But one of the newer things for Construction Online here in the middle is our quick links. This just takes you right into a specific feature. So if you've got a job to do and you're in a hurry to get there and do it, you could just come right in here and click on the feature and it just takes you right in. So this is a great way for you to just jump right into it, especially useful for those of us who are just getting started with the new Construction Online, because now you can immediately find everything that you're looking for within your projects and allows you to skip a few steps. You're always you're always going to be a step ahead. You're always ready for your next piece of information because the overview is feeding you right into where you need to go.
Yeah, and that's really the goal with so many of the dashboards and visual elements that you'll see as you go to each feature. When I think of Construction Online 2019, we've literally made hundreds, if not thousands, of enhancements, large and small, to make each feature easier to use, more powerful, more convenient. And one of the things that you'll see along all of those is updates to the dashboards and a little more interaction and those quick links like we were just looking at. But all of those are designed to do exactly that. Funnel your attention when you first hit that feature so that you can understand, like here when we're looking at this estimate, exactly where we stand. We are 100% through our budget, so I hope this project is almost finished. If not, we're in trouble. But we can see that very quickly when we log in. Looking at the communication tool set, for example, some great dashboards have been added there to help you keep track of things like your RFIs and even things like your project announcements, pulling those into view a little bit more so that you have that announcement wall and can really use that as a place to post notes for your team to view.
Yeah, it's interesting for me in this case too, because there's a lot of announcing that people do on projects, but they don't really think of it as such. And sometimes it's going to be something really, really simple, like we need to give everybody the gate code in order to get into the gated community where we're going to be working. Well, the announcements for something like this are perfect. You can actually post all of the important information. You can put it together in the announcements, and you can actually make that a sticky announcement so that it's always at the top of the list of announcements. And that way the gate code is the first thing that people see when they come here. Nobody has an excuse for getting locked out of the community in this case, because all of that information is going to be available right here at the top or at the forefront. Holly's exactly right too. Some of the additional dashboards that you'll have in areas like RFIs or submittals, they do a fantastic job of just focusing you in on the things that need your attention. And again, I love some of these additions that we've made with the new ConstructionOnline, because they take what may otherwise be a kind of a bland wall of text and they make it mean something. And you'll find that throughout the system. Again, RFIs have them, submittals have them, financials I love. I'm one of the QuickBooks Pro advisors that we have on staff here too. So for me, on the estimate side, I am constantly looking for information about estimate versus actuals or profitability on jobs or whatever it may be. All of this is critical. And as I'm looking at this dashboard, like Holly mentioned earlier, it looks like we're in trouble if we're at 100% on so many different areas. But all it takes is a little bit of moving on to the next section, and you can start to see that we've just finished the first few categories or the first few main divisions of the job. I'm okay. I don't have to sweat as much because we're still well under budget for everything as we're moving forward. So this is a good sign for me.
That's right. Now the dashboards, of course, are going to give you that great big picture, fast view. One other thing that we've done in ConstructionOnline 2019 for you guys is make sure that the in-depth reporting that you can do is also easier to access. So with ConstructionOnline, we've been building a report library over the last couple of years. And with ConstructionOnline 2019, this new version, we've just made those more accessible. So you'll notice that each major section, like your project tracking or your financials, for example, where we are here, always you'll have a report section that you can reference. So when you see something on the dashboard that maybe you need to get a little more detail on, or if it comes time to run a report for maybe your estimate versus actual or your over budget, you've got that report library always accessible within each section so that you can go in, choose a report that you need, be able to create that easily. And then of course from there, print it up or email it or whatever you need to do at that point.
Yeah, and that's a very good point too. I am very glad, by the way, that these buttons are, clicking from my mouse, because otherwise there would be a lot of wear on this particular one. But as you're going through and you're working on all these different reports, they're all going to be available here. And you can actually see too where some of those customization options come into play. All of these have a little preview to give you a rough idea on what's supposed to be communicated through the report itself. But all of these that have the little Harbison logo up at the top, that's where your logo goes. So as you add in a lot of this customization, as you guys set yourselves up and provide that kind of professional outlook for everything that you guys are generating from the system, most of that information is going to be right here, and you'll be able to walk through it as such. Now, a brief side note on this one as well. In ConstructionOnline Classic, or for those of you who are coming from some of the other systems that are available out there, we've had Zero integration, QuickBooks Online integration available for some time. Through ConstructionSuite Desktop, we've actually been integrating with QuickBooks Desktop for somewhere near 15 years. We're a gold certified, I think it's a gold certified developer. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to mix that up with the Pro Advisor certification levels and everything like that too. But ultimately, we've always had your best interests in mind when it comes to working with the accounting platform. And this couldn't be more obvious when you take a look at some of the features that are available with the accounting integration in here too. Now again, we're not going to go too deep into this one, but I've actually connected this with my QuickBooks Online account. And what's great about that option and bringing it to the forefront is now you can actually see a history for everything that's happening with the integration. All of it is a two-way integration, so you can push all the information over to QuickBooks, you can pull it all back again, and you can see exactly what's happening here right on this main page for your financials. So there's never a question on when the last time we imported our actuals or anything like that. We can always see right here how up to date this information is and whether or not it needs a refresh. And if it does, we have an easy to access option to do that right here on this page. A deeper dive on accounting integration, of course, this is going to be available to you guys as well. But for now, let's press on to some of the additional features. There's one big one in particular that I kind of want to touch on. It's been available for a while, but most people haven't used it nearly enough. And this feature that I want to take a look at now is actually Redline Plan Room. So we're just going to take a brief touch on this one because I already see a lot of questions coming through about plans and the various different options and everything like that in here too. And as we're looking at Redline Plan Room, this is the feature where you can start to see a lot of this information, physically see it coming together. So in Redline, you can actually take a set of plans that's being uploaded to ConstructionOnline. You can load it into Redline here. And in fact, if you're working with a PDF set of plans, you can actually drag it and drop it in here and it'll figure itself out. It'll actually sort out or break out each of the individual pages, and then you can publish it, and then you can go into and navigate through it from here. I bring this one up because it's a great one to keep an eye on, not just because Redline is going to replace a lot of those old markup tools that you guys might have used in the past, not just because it has all of these core tools that you need for your marking up on your set of plans, or because it's available in the mobile app, not even because it's attached to everything that you guys have available in ConstructionOnline, I almost did it again, so that you can take and pin your to-dos or attachments or selections or change orders. All of this is available in Redline Plan Room. And it gives you the ability to track all this information here in Redline Plan Room, like adding in new to-dos while you're walking the job site with your customer. They say, hey, can you fix that? And you say, yeah, we can. New to-do, take a picture, attach it, drag the pin, drop it over on the set of plans where it belongs, and move on. All of this is definitely available already in ConstructionOnline and Redline Plan Room. The thing that I want you guys to keep an eye out for some of these adjustments in the future is Redline is actually getting a lot of major enhancements and becoming a bigger, more powerful thing over the course of the next few quarters. So some of the things that our current users underutilize, I'd say, the big value adds in Redline Plan Room are areas like here where you can set the scale for the plans and then do some quick takeoffs right here in the page. This allows you to go through and do some quick measurements, some quick perimeters, calculate areas, and a variety of different things like that. We're actually going to be featuring this fairly prominently as we work, as we show up in... When does the International Builder Show start? The 19th of February?
February 19th?
Yeah, we're going to be actually talking about this. This is going to be a centerpiece for that. We're actually going to be joined by one of our partners from iPlan Tables, where they're going to actually have a large kind of plan room table that they've set up. I call it a table. It's like a huge touchscreen TV. And we're going to be kind of highlighting how Redline performs in you'll have to see it. It's actually it looks really amazing. Again, the company that we're working with in this case is iPlan Tables. And we're going to be highlighting this, among other things, at the International Builder Show. And we'd love to have you guys join us for that. It's just a few weeks away in Las Vegas. Give us a call too if you guys are interested in going. And we'll see what we can do to meet up with you guys there. Now, sorry to distract. I'm sure there's still a couple of other things that we need to talk about, and it looks like we're already starting to get close on time. So from here, what's next on the list, Holly?
Yeah, we are. I think what might be next on the list is some of these great questions we've seen coming in. You're right, we're starting to get a little close on time, coming up on the top of the hour. We definitely appreciate so many of you taking some time out of your afternoon to join us today. But I think this is a good time to maybe take a look at some of those questions. It looks like that you guys have really kept Sydney busy, which is what we love to see. And I see some great questions coming in, some great questions that she's asked us to revisit and come back and address live with you guys. So we'll dive into some of those.
Absolutely. Now, before we do as well, keep in mind that this is the first in a series of 5 webinars. Today we're going to be doing the overview, so we've got a lot of questions here that we're going to cover. We are always recording these webinars as well. So this recording is going to be available on YouTube. And if you guys are interested in kind of going back through and seeing some of the highlights that we've got in there, don't forget to take a look for us on YouTube. You can find us just by going to YouTube and search for UDA Technologies, all one word. And it'll actually take you to our channel where you'll find this recording, all of the ConstructionSuite 10 announcements, all of our future recordings. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of probably about 200, maybe at this point 220 videos, recordings, training materials that we have available online. It's all available there on our YouTube channel. Find it there, and we'll continue from there. Now, at this point too, since we're going to be transitioning over to the questions portion of the webinar, I do want to take a moment to let you guys know that if you've missed something important or you've run out of time yourselves, you can always reach us too, just by giving us a call or reach out to us on the web. If you go to our website, udatechnologies.com or constructiononline.com, you'll find a number of different phone numbers, email addresses, even a chat option if you guys have some more questions. Give us a call directly, though, at 1-800-700-8321. We'd love to have a talk. For now, though, if you guys are pretty thrilled with what you've seen and you guys need to get back to work, we certainly appreciate your time. And again, don't forget, we're doing, ClientLink and TeamLink on Friday.
That's right. So you'll be able to see the brand new ClientLink and TeamLink portals on Friday, and we'll take that deeper dive into how those work. On Monday of next week, we'll be covering document management, files, photos, really how you can keep that organized for your company and take advantage of some of the new tools that we've built in. On Wednesday of next week, we'll be doing a session focusing on scheduling and calendars. So really using the scheduling tool, using the calendars, using tools like GamePlan that go along with that to help communicate that information out to your team. And then on Friday of next week, so that will be February 8th, is when we'll wrap up the series with a session focusing on construction online estimating and financial management. So that's where we'll take a closer look at estimating, a closer look at managing changes to the estimate, like of course your change orders, tracking those job costs and actuals, and dive into the integrations a bit as well. Okay, welcome back everyone. We've had so much fun actually looking at and reviewing some of the questions that you guys have sent over. I think we might have actually set a record today for a number of questions submitted by our users. So we appreciate that feedback. We appreciate the questions. Can't wait to dive into some of those. We'll start by addressing one of the more common questions that I see, and it's been a fun one over the last few sessions that we've done. But one of the most common questions is, when can I have this new or upgraded version? So for those of you who are working exclusively now in Construction Online Classic and would like to make sure that you're upgraded to the Construction Online 2019 version, know that upgrade is coming your way. So that is headed out to all of our Construction Online users shortly. So you guys will begin seeing that, as early as this week. If you are super excited and would like your favorite UDA employee, Holly, to make sure that you are set up to receive that very quickly, feel free to just send me over an email or give me a call. We'll chat and make sure that you get set up with Construction Online 2019.
Favorite employee, Holly.
Yes,
I like
favorite.
that plug. By the way, her email address is hgibson, Gibson with a P, at uda1.com. But of course, you can also reach out to any one of us. We would all be thrilled even, to reach out to you. As you can see in the chat, Sydney is actually sharing a lot of this information with you as well. Email addresses, phone numbers, things like that. So keep an eye on that if you need to make notes. That's a great place to go. Now I'm going to handle a group of questions together because there's been several questions about two features on the page that we're on right now. The first one is setting up views in Construction Online estimating. Now, of course, this one should probably come with a spoiler tag because we're going to be talking about this in much greater detail Friday next week as we do our deep dive into estimating. But if we expand this out and take a look at the estimate that we have available right now, you'll see front and center, we have a drop down that allows you to change which view you want to start with. But you can also come into and customize some of the columns that are available here as well. So you can see what the column is designed to display. But if you want to right-click and hide columns, this is an easy way to remove some of the ones that are less critical to you at any given point. You can also right-click and go to Show Hide Columns to turn on additional columns that might be a little bit more important. Now you'll find this is very, very necessary if you're going through and you're trying to take a look at a few key pieces of information. I think the question that came through was regarding actual costs and invoiced amounts, so tracking profitability, perhaps. That information can be adjusted just by checking both of those boxes, or if you feel like the view that you're looking at is a little cluttered, it doesn't make sense to you anymore, there's also an option at the bottom of this to restore the default settings for the simple estimate view. Now this one's important because sometimes people kind of get caught up on just the one view that they're on, and they make a ton of changes to it, and it starts to get a little cluttered, and it gets a little foggy maybe, or murky. So this is a quick way to take us back to the default settings for that particular view, and it does a great job of giving us just that core detail for, in this case, a simple estimate. Now, of course, from here, you can get the additional information that you're looking for using a variety of different reports and tools. So if we show the financial categories or click that option, you can find under financial reports all sorts of different ways to take this information and chop it up to give you a little bit better detail. So as you're going through and working with this too, take a look under financial reports. But the other of the group of questions that I kind of wanted to touch on was our preferences in working with things like QuickBooks or Xero or QuickBooks Desktop, basically the accounting integration options that we have available to us here. Now, as we work through this, not to give you too much detail on it, but you've got the ability to come into and choose which of the accounting platforms that you guys have available. If you're looking to make this choice or you guys are unsure which one to work with, give us a call. We actually have a lot of advisors on staff who can help direct you to one of the better solutions available, or we can put you in touch with or maybe talk about how to find a good pro advisor in your area. I can tell you from experience that QuickBooks itself, either online or desktop, tends to be the preferred solution. I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of about 85% of our clients are using QuickBooks in some form or fashion. So we will probably guide you down that path. We find that theirs tends to provide us with the best overall collection of tools. Namely, among those, I have the ability to actually see what happened in these reports, and when you click on one of these, it actually takes you into QuickBooks Online and shows you the information that you were looking at. So again, these are great tools that are available with QuickBooks Online, and if you're interested in seeing some of those things, take a look for that one in particular. Now, the other last piece to this that I wanted to touch on too before I let Holly field a couple of questions if she has some, is back here on the estimating view, there's a small adjustment that we actually made with Construction Online that allows you to do things that we've never offered before, and that's working in combination between manual actuals or manual invoiced amounts or something like that and imported values. So now you can actually turn on both columns. The two columns combined will be subtracted from your base cost if you're working with actuals. QuickBooks actuals and manual actuals will be subtracted from your base cost to show you your variance. And this is as easy as going into, my preference would be going into the budget view, where you can see some of these. Wait, is that the right one? No, job costing. The job costing view. Turn on both columns. And as you're working with those columns, QuickBooks Actuals, you'll be able to see both of them side by side, add the two of them together, and you can deduct it out from there. Now, it's important to remember that you actually do have to remain connected for those columns to be active. Otherwise, as you saw when we first came to this view, they're hidden because, well, not being connected means there shouldn't be anything in there. So make sure that you have those things turned on, make sure that you have the information available, and the estimate will actually take care of the rest. So we're going to pause for a moment and go through some more of these questions, find our next one. Sydney may have a couple more for us flagged. But we'll keep plugging away. Oh, there's an interesting one here actually. Will Redline take the place of PlanSwift? You know, while that particular viewer may not be in the webinar any longer, I'm still going to touch on this one because it actually leads us to a different question for integrations with various different takeoff partners. We actually have a desktop helper app called Socket that gives you the option to put a button in PlanSwift. There's an integration with PlanSwift that when you open up PlanSwift and you go to the estimating tab, you'll find a new button there that says Create Construction Online Estimate. When you generate your takeoff in PlanSwift, you can click that button and it gives you this, completely built based on all the information that you've got in PlanSwift. It's a fantastic tool, and if you guys are using Construction Online, and well, I think it might be best in Construction Online New, but if you guys are using Construction Online 2019 and you guys haven't already started to take advantage of that integration, you should do so today. That option is fantastic. It's a huge time saver, and it fits perfectly with the theme that we have for Construction Online, where we want to save you as much time because you've already invested it somewhere. So we're just going to help you take advantage of it there.
And I believe most of these were answered by Sydney, but it's always good to kind of recap too there that with the QuickBooks integration, of course, Ian's account that we're looking at here today has been connected to QuickBooks Online. So that's what we've been looking at just for purposes of this webinar. We do, of course, also integrate with the QuickBooks Desktop through Socket, which is our desktop connector, which is going to allow you to integrate with your desktop version of QuickBooks with Construction Online, of course, being a web-based program for you.
I'll pull this over and keep that out of your way. We do have Socket available to you here as well, so if you wanted to open it up and take a look, we're not going to go into any major detail or anything like that here, but ultimately it gives you a lot of the same features that you've got available through QuickBooks Online. You can see those here. Through the File menu, you'll actually find the option to add that PlanSwift plugin. Again, I love it. I think that it does a great job because PlanSwift is fantastic at helping you figure out what you need on a job, the materials and sometimes labor, depending on how you have it set up. And they do it all by traces. If you guys haven't used it, we've got a couple of different options for you, but it's currently our preferred vendor on the takeoff side, or I shouldn't say preferred. We love them all. Mm-hmm. We love all of our children the same. No, in this case, we find that PlanSwift tends to be one of the more popular options. So we work with a lot of clients who are using that one right now. And if you guys are taking advantage of something like PlanSwift and you have some questions on some best uses, give us a call. We've got a lot of experience working with systems like PlanSwift or eTakeoff or Stack or Revit or any of a number of other ones that are available in there too. Even on the actual design side, like Chief Architect and some of those additional CAD programs. They all have tremendous value, and we can help you guys work with all of them. So give us a call if you guys are interested. Don't forget too, if you guys have any last minute questions, send them our way. We will try to continue going through them.
And for any that we don't get to today, again, I believe that Sydney has chatted out my contact information and perhaps Ian's as well to all of you guys attending today. So if we didn't get to your question, or if you have things that you'd like to follow up with us or additional questions that you want to ask about Construction Online 2019, feel free to reach out to us directly, either Ian or myself or any of our colleagues. Would love to speak with you and answer your questions.
Absolutely. We've got a fantastic team here, and they are all anxiously awaiting all of those questions. So don't forget to give us a call or shoot us an email if you guys have the chance. And at this point, it does look like we've about run out of time. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go ahead and wrap up this webinar. Don't forget to join us for our next in the series. It looks like Sydney has actually posted the link for the complete schedule. So definitely take a look for it there. We're going to follow up on a lot of these questions and topics and everything like that as well. So if there's anything else that we can do for you guys, keep an ear out for us because we're going to be reaching out to you shortly. For everything else though, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure hosting you guys, and hopefully we've covered most of what you guys are interested in, but if not, this isn't going to be the last time we talk. Reach out to us again and we'd love to hear from you guys. Until then though, everyone, thanks for your time and have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.